So suddenly, it has become popular, I guess, to hate on TX2, mostly simply because stuff has come out about him potentially plagiarizing stuff, copying different songs, and just being a general dick, as well as different things surfacing as how he treats some of his fans, telling people to off themselves, yelling slurs just for the hell of it sometimes. And considering I've talked in the past about TX2 and brought to light some things about him, I wanted to talk in the modern sphere, considering people have been circulating information more and more, as well as I have just had a lot of stakes in talking about him in the past, but obviously my audience is bigger now and more people are wondering about TX2, so I wanted to provide my personal opinions on it. And I feel somewhat vindicated because I feel like I was right about him. And I remember so many dick riders at the time when I would talk about TX2 being like, he's saving lives, he's doing so much for people, you're just a hater, let people enjoy what they want to enjoy, despite the fact that in the videos I talked about him, I quite literally said, if you get something out of him, if you enjoy him, if he's part of your journey, awesome, good for you. I would never invalidate or take that away from anyone, so if that is your experience with him, cool. But TX2 has always been a fraud and a poser, and I don't throw those terms around loosely because I know that they have been sapped and devoid of all meaning for quite some time simply because they've been so overused that the meaning of the words just completely evaporated into thin air. But let's go through some things about TX2, shall we? So TX2 obviously blew up by doing a lot of clickbait in the pandemic era of YouTube Shorts and TikToks, and you probably remember him from the I'm a 5'4" man whore who slit his wrist. He's been kind of the cringe edgelord that a lot of Gen Z specifically have adopted throughout time as like the new strain of emo, but if you look into him at all, you will see not only the hypocrisy, but the cringiness, the inconsistencies, and the genuinely damaging things that he has done to numerous communities via his platform. His entire brand has mostly been built around stereotypes. From the beginning, he always capitalized and monetized the alternative lifestyle and the emo lifestyle. He would constantly talk about how he was emo, how he was a punk, how he was a metalhead, how he was a rock fan, how he was goth, and none of these encapsulated him, considering he would be a jack of all trades and a master of none, where if something would make a quick buck, or it could be correlated to a specific song or merch drop he was doing, or a specific YouTube Shorts, he would try to profit off of the stereotypes and cliches of whatever movement he decided to pull on that day, whereas he was never really a part of any individual movement, nor did he ever do anything outside of boiling it down to its bare essentials and all of its tropes as a one. There was never really anything intense or intuitive or anything that didn't just boil down to all of the tropes that not only did people within the niche see a lot of times, but also people outside of the niche would always sort of rant and rave about being stereotypical and use as ammunition. And over the years, it just got worse and worse to where he would make himself out to be this damn clown and make his entire brand how persecuted he was, despite literally doing everything in his power to become persecuted and make himself a target of viable cringe in the eyes of YouTube Shorts and TikTok haters. So not only did he know how to get a specific rise out of people, he was also very good at putting all those stereotypes in, whether it be like the goth mommy aesthetic or making a ton of shit about like hot topic emos and scene culture, how he was so persecuted as the little emo boy he was, or making fun of gay people and queer people despite obviously being it himself. Everything he did just came across as very try-hard and very over-the-top and unnecessary, whether it be the church stuff or how he would go to like different festivals of like anti-pride stuff and sing his song and it would obviously be so incredibly staged, or the way he would drop the most common denominator generic dime a dozen song ever and be like, is this the hardest rock song of 2023? Or making the claims that he had like the heaviest metal music ever, when I do not believe TX2 has made a metal song in his entire career. And that's not me being an elitist or a gatekeeper, like just generally speaking, he is like a pop punk and a post-hardcore type of person, emo at best, alternative rock. He is not a metalhead. And I want to sort of step back from a lot of the negativity for a second and talk more about the fan base and how I think that he damages it in his own way. If you go into any given comment section or you look at a lot of the people who are like diehard fans of TX2, whether it be at his shows or just supporting him as a whole, the vast majority are very young, very impressionable people in their teenage years, and obviously there are plenty of adults who love TX2, I'm not going to say that. But I would say there is such a thing as a responsibility when you have that sort of platform for multiple communities that are either just marginalized full stop or people that look up to you as this messiah messiah, and you're spreading not only stereotypes to give haters more ammunition to attack the very group that you are trying to pull in as outsiders and build your brand around, but you're also setting so many people up with weird information where they're not necessarily going to know the type of music you're performing because you're constantly calling it not only the wrong shit, but you're also portraying yourself in a much different light where you're not talking about the influences you're playing with. You're not talking about how the fact half of your songs are either directly ripped from other bands or so damn influenced by other bands that they're near indistinguishable, only your version is a dime a dozen sort of Walmart bargain bin version of it. You are quite literally giving ammunition to the very people that are trying to attack the community that you are so-called defending. He is the most industry plant type of person ever, and he is a product of his time, and dare I say, I don't think someone like TX2 could have blown up right now or right before the pandemic, because he capitalized on the fact that during the pandemic, during the early years, everyone was stuck inside, and when TikTok had its boom and YouTube Shorts had its boom, you had a lot of teenagers and people in their young 20s that were stuck inside, quarantine, and so they were constantly doom scrolling social media. And so he would just re-upload the same damn thing over and over and over, and he saw a massive market for pandering to these tropes. I'm very happy that there are a lot of people that get a lot out of his music and feel like he's talking directly to them, but relating to a piece of his music doesn't take away the fact that he has profited off of making a mockery of the very things that he is talking about constantly. And the things that he does on his own behalf towards himself has greater implications outside of him, considering he has built up this cult of personality and coalition around him. He just has this weird dynamic with a lot of younger fans, a part of his fan base, and I'm not going to make any accusations that he is creepy or weird whatsoever. I would not do that, but I also think that the way he panders to his young fan base, many of which are minors, while also pushing a thing that is by its nature very inherently sexualized a lot of times, and sort of pushing that agenda and pushing that narrative just really does give me the ick. And when you combine that with the fact that he not only pretty much steals songs, but is very generic, constantly has this weird egocentric drive to act like he is far more important than he is, and that he is doing something so genre defining and groundbreaking, and then you add on to that that he is like a fucking poor man's MGK, while also profiting off of the emo scene. And I'm not saying that he didn't grow up maybe enjoying My Chemical Romance, I'm just saying he came out the other side doing something that is a weird bastardization, and I've seen people say that it's like the version of people that make fun of emo music, what they would make. He kind of has the Ronnie Radke effect of where he constantly will go after people who critique him or disagree with him, and as a result of that, he has built up a fan base of impressionable young people who will go up to bat for this person who is clearly just trying to make money off of them. By taking a scene that in no way was meant to necessarily be a monetary thing and turning it into a monetary empire, he just clearly wants this weird approval and credibility and notoriety in the punk and emo and metal sphere by saying it every other song and every other TikTok short and every other YouTube short. Every time there is a slow point in a genre, there are bands or artists that come around that sort of redefine it, either by reigniting the flame of the excitement of the past or drawing new intrigue into the genre by doing something brand new, and TX2 has managed to miss both. And considering the platform he has as being one of the biggest punk people, I would say that someone like MGK, who is a notorious dipshit, is a much better approximation of someone who really cares about the genre, even if he's someone I don't really like. You can tell when someone is genuinely taking from their roots in a passionate way and making something out of it. TX2 just feels like he is putting on an act, and he always has felt like that. I just straight up think he is problematic, and not in the quirky way, not in the oh he went and did something horrible to someone way, but more as an overarching statement that accumulated over time as a result of a lot of negative things he said and done, as well as how he uses his platform, how he blew up in the first place, and the message that he is putting out to his predominantly young fan base. If you love him, or he means a lot to you, or he has gotten you through some stuff, more power to you. I would just say be careful of the people that you look up to, or that you idolize, or that you think you have a parasocial relationship and dynamic with, because the ground probably is going to fall beneath you and the carpet's gonna get pulled. Ultimately, those are just my opinions of TX2, though. You can let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts of him. Agree or disagree, there is no wrong answer. Be sure to like like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.